Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cryptonews Weekly Roundup. Your hosts here, Matt Zahab and Rachel Wolfson. Rachel, great to see you again. How you doing on this lovely week? And where are you right now? You back in Texas? You back in SF? Where are you?
Yeah, good question, Matt. I'm doing well, and I am back in Austin.
I love it. One of my favorite cities. It was great being there last year with you and the Cryptonews team. Hopefully there's another crypto conference soon in Austin, but let's jump into it. Pretty wild week, folks. Pretty standard. Last week was a parabolic run up. This week we've had a couple good coins, but pretty even across the board. Bitcoin is pretty much dead even on the week, down 0.06%, but we'll call that even though it's red. Currently at 118.5K per Bitcoin. Ethereum, one of the biggest gainers of the week, up 8 ticks to 3.68K per ETH. XRP is down 2.2% to $3.17 per Ripple. BNB up 8%, Sol up 8%, and briefly recaptured the $200 mark per Sol, which is great to see. Now it's down back to 185, which is still great. And the biggest gainer of the week, Dogecoin, our beautiful dog coin, up 11% to 23.5 cents per Doge. Another week, and it seems the theme of the week, and I don't think this is going anywhere. It's all about the crypto treasury codes and the ETFs. Another huge week of inflows last week, Rachel, with a new record of $4.39 billion worth of weekly inflows. Wowza, what a week.
Yeah, Matt, let's talk about it. So digital asset investment products recorded an all-time high in weekly inflows of $4.39 billion, surpassing the previous record of $4.27 billion set after the U.S. election in December 2024, and pushing total assets under management to a historic $220 billion, according to CoinShares. This surge marks the 14th consecutive week of inflows, bringing year-to-date totals to $27 billion as institutional appetite intensifies across Bitcoin and Ethereum products.
Crazy stuff. Speaking of crazy stuff, another ancient Bitcoin whale comes out of nowhere. He or she successfully liquidated their entire stash of 80,000 Bitcoin. Imagine owning 80,000 Bitcoin. And they held this for 14 years, generating approximately 9.53 billion at an average selling price of 118.8K. Most notably, on July 15th, intelligence data from Arkham, spotted by MBCN, showed that a whale from the Satoshi era executed a transfer of 40,000 Bitcoin, with 18,000 of those Bitcoin valued at $2.17 billion being directed to Galaxy Digital and other over-the-counter, also known as OTC Bitcoin trading services. Pretty wild. I think we're at 3 or 4 weeks in a row with a Bitcoin whale liquidating a stash from over 10 years ago. Pretty wild stuff. And boy, oh boy, I do get a little jealous here. Maybe not jealous, envious. I don't know the correct word, but I really wish I got in and had 80,000 Bitcoin. What a life that would be. Moving forward, Trump in the news again as Trump's World Liberty Financial snags 562 ETH with a $2 million buying spree.
Yeah, Matt, let's talk about. So Trump's World Liberty Financial spent $2 million in USDC to acquire 561 ETH at a price of $3,567, according to on-chain data from Arkham Intelligence reported by Look On-Chain. This latest transaction brings World Liberty Financial's total Ethereum holdings to 76,849 ETH, valued at approximately $281 million at current prices. The group's average entry price now stands at around $3,291, putting its unrealized gains at over $28 million.
Moving forward, Rachel, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen moved 50 million XRP, not $50 million, 50 million XRP, worth around 175 million between July 17th and yesterday, sparking backlash from the crypto community. Blockchain sleuth Zach XBT flagged the transactions in a Thursday post on X, noting that roughly 140 million of the XRP was sent to centralized exchanges. Normally when this happens, the person is intending to cash out. He said, wallets linked to Chris Larsen still hold over 2.8 billion XRP, which is worth 8.4 billion US dollars. And he also replied to a user and said, it's baffling how much they have and people still somehow buy this shit. XRP is trading at around $3.09 per XRP with a market cap of 183 billion, which means that Larsen's holdings account for approximately 4.6% of XRP's total market cap, which could create strong sell pressure if moved rapidly. I still don't know why people hold XRP, but then again, I don't own it and I've been poor while everyone else continues to get rich on XRP. Still baffling to this day, but they have a great cult and somehow they still continue to make money. Moving forward, jumping back to ETH, SEC hits the pause button on the Bitwise ETF offering broad crypto exposure.
Yeah, Matt. So this is recent news. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approved and then immediately paused the conversion of Bitwise crypto index fund into an exchange traded fund, leaving it in limbo in a pending review. The SEC's Division of Trading and Markets granted an accelerated approval of the Bitwise 10 crypto index conversion into an ETF on Tuesday, which means Bitwise could request that the SEC declare the registration effective earlier than the regular timeline. However, in a letter the same day, SEC Assistant Secretary Sherry Haywood said that the order is stayed until the commission orders otherwise, and the commission will review the delegated action. Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seyffert said in an X post on Tuesday that the Bitwise ETF has been stayed by either one or multiple commissioners, meaning they cannot actually convert it into an ETF yet.
Yeah, well said there. Moving forward, the convergence of TradFi and crypto continues. PNC Bank, one of the largest banks in the US, is moving forward and offering crypto services through their Coinbase partnership. They are utilizing Coinbase's crypto as a service platform, enabling customers to buy, hold, and sell crypto. Pretty good here. The CEO of PNC Bank said this collaboration enables us to meet growing demand for secure and streamlined access to digital assets on PNC's trusted platform. US banks are increasingly embracing crypto, signaling steps toward deeper integration of digital assets in mainstream portfolios. You can put this front and center on the billboard of things we love to see this week. Moving forward, and this is something that I absolutely love, as we've seen tons of companies use this sort of loophole. Crypto firms that say they're raising billions for treasuries aren't really buying crypto. It's more of a loophole for the crypto whales themselves to have easy liquidity and cash out mechanisms. Rachel, tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, Matt. So this is definitely interesting news. Talking to Forbes, crypto analyst Rand Nooner claimed that crypto treasury firms are acting less like buyers and more like exit vehicles for crypto insiders. Instead of purchasing assets directly from exchanges, these companies often receive crypto contributions from existing holders in exchange for shares that later trade at massive premiums on public markets. An example of this is SharpLink's $425 million Ethereum treasury. It was not funded by institutions. According to Nooner, crypto holders contributed ETH in return for shares of net asset value.
Yeah, well said there, Rachel. Ledger back in the news. Big fan of Ledger. One, of course, them and Trezor being the behemoths by a country mile. In the physical wallet space, Ledger launches Recovery Key, a physical spare key. They announced this product in late June 2025, which allows the Ledger Flex and Ledger Stacks users to create a spare key alongside the 24 words. It's as easy as tapping a card and entering a PIN, and connects directly to the wallet via NFC wireless channels. No intermediaries, which is huge. Users can create always offline spare keys within minutes, and it is kept on hardware and is protected by its own PIN code. Only the wallet owner can create it by confirming it on their ledger, and can also create a spare key. And also the option, to create the spare key remains optional. Just another great step for security and allowing the physical intent there as well. Moving forward, Paolo Ardoino, friend of the show and friend of Cryptonews, back in the news this week for great reason. He got a shout out from President Trump last week at the US Crypto Week, and Tether rekindles plans to launch and break back into the US market.
Yeah, Matt. So basically, Tether is laying the groundwork for a fresh push into the US, spurred by a major shift in the country's regulatory climate here in the United States. Paulo Ardoino told Bloomberg in an interview Wednesday that the company is moving ahead with its domestic strategy following last week's signing of the landmark stablecoin legislation by President Donald Trump. The so-called Genius Act is expected to expand the role of stablecoins in global finance, potentially allowing banks, card networks, and tech firms to issue their own digital tokens.
Another week, another Cryptonews weekly roundup, and Saylor is back in the news as Michael Saylor's strategy is offering yield to bring investors into Bitcoin. But critics say STRC's 9% returns depend on constant new inflows, making it feel like a system where new investors fund old ones. They are literally giving a 9% yield to all holders of the stock. Pretty bananas here. This is a variable rate Series A perpetual stretch preferred stock. Wow, that is a big mouthful. The product is designed to raise $500 million for further Bitcoin accumulation. If he can pull this off, this would be great, but there is a lot of risk in this. So do your research and be careful as always. And last piece of news of the week, Rachel, PolyMarket acquires derivatives exchange QCEX for 112 mil to expand its US footprint and come back into the USA.
Yeah, Matt. So PolyMarket acquired QCEX for $112 million. The deal follows the closure of a federal investigation that had hindered PolyMarket's U.S. expansion. PolyMarket is poised to re-enter the country legally, so we've just got to wait and see what happens on this one.
Yeah, well said, folks. That marks another episode of the Cryptonews Weekly Roundup. We really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please hammer that like button, hammer that subscribe button. It would mean the world to myself, Rachel, and the whole team at Cryptonews. We hope you guys enjoyed this. Next week should be another bananas week. It's crypto. There's always banana stuff going on. Hopefully we get some more green on the board. Hopefully we have a new BTC all-time high. And enjoy your summer. Touch some grass. Keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you guys. Ciao.